Hello, captains of pixelated warships. This is the Stig, and today we're going to be going over the Tier 5 premium German cruiser, the Admiral Graf von Spee, or the Graf Spee for short. I wanted to showcase the beauty of this ship here really quickly before we got started on this review and playtest. And I also wanted to let you know we're going to go over a little historical knowledge, a little opinion, obviously fact-based, but we're going to have a lot of fun here. And with that, we're going to be playing Domination Mode on New Dawn. I guess to start this video, I'm going to go over some historical facts very quickly, because many people already know this story. After that, I will talk about my commander build, and then after that, we will go over parts of the game. So, to start off, Graf Spee is a pickle, and I don't like saying this, but to me, this ship is the most significant ship of World War II. I only say this because it was the only German ship to do its job, essentially, other than, not considering, you have U-boats. But the goal of German ships at the start of World War II and throughout World War II was to sink Allied merchant ships, primarily to stop supplies from heading to Great Britain. So with that, World War II started in 1939, and interestingly enough, the Graf Spee was sent out in 1939 as well. But surprisingly enough, it was sent out in the South Atlantic to attack merchant shipping, not the North Atlantic, which we will cover in a hot second. So, fast forward, launch, blah, 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 going down, middle of the ocean, blah, 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 fast forward, okay. Graf Spee, captained by Langsdorff. Well, with this ship, he was able to sink 9 merchant ships in a very short amount of time. And it doesn't seem like that much, especially when you're playing this game and you're like, I get a crack in every game, man. Well, 9 ships is a lot. And more so, Captain Langsdorff actually didn't kill, well, his crew, the Graf Spee, his crew did not kill a single sailor on any of those ships. And that is quite absolutely incredible. I think that's like the most important part of this entire video. The sailors did not lose their lives. His job was to sink ships, and he did, without loss of life. Just absolutely incredible. But going back to the most significant ship of World War II, I say this because it did its job. It sunk 9 ships. And when you look at it, the Bismarck Interprets were made just for that. And the Bismarck Interprets, I mean, you know their story. Absolutely significant, stunning, and terrifying battleships. But they were sunk. And their stories are significant, but what they did, well, it's still significant, but they're still insignificant for what they were created to do. The Graf Spee is the only ship to actually be successful in that sense. So yeah, that's why the irony is absolutely insane. And since World War II at this point in time was so early, even though there was the successful sinking of 9 ships, at this point in time in World War II, it really didn't matter. And on top of it, it was in the Southern Atlantic. In the North Atlantic is where you run into all the pickles of, the United States shipping to Great Britain and, for supplies, for food, all of the above. And this is before, really Allied merchant shipping took off to support Great Britain in World War II. So that's why the ship it's really insignificant, but the story is absolutely significant. And significant in the sense that it was the only ship to actually do its job. But yes. So, with that, I'm going to go over my commander build really quickly, because some of you are going to be absolutely surprised. And, yeah, really quickly, that's why you don't sail broadside to a battleship. But we're going to go over that after we talk about this commander setup, just to give some, a point of view of where I'm at. So I actually have Sheer on this build. And before you freak out, before you flip, oh my God, what are you doing? Why don't you have Muller? Why don't you have Luton? Well, I don't have them. Or Ziliax. So I can't wait for my Bismarck review when I don't even have, the best guy for it. But anyway, so Sheer right now, I have him level 12, legendary 2. So with that, his base rate of fire alarm is damage control party reload time -2.1, risk of catching fire -3.5, which mathematically is insignificant, but it's still something. For his first trait, I have Burn It Down, XXL. Chance of being fire caused by HE shells plus 2%, and that's mastered out. Second, we have Look at Me Now, the increased ship concealment rating of sea detectability range of -6, and we're going to go over that because it's unbelievably important as of why I'm doing this build. Next, we have, oh my God, I don't even know how to say this. Velocious? And I know how to pronounce words, but whatever. It's the increased maximum speed of the ship of plus 2%. And then last, before we get to legendary status, we have Reaching Out XXL, which is range of main guns plus 2. So that last set there, and the second to last set, those are both Mastery 204, and the first and second set are both Mastery 404. So for legendary status, being level 2, I have actually chosen fully packed. So reload time of consumables is -1%, and consumable charges is plus 1%. And this is very, very important. Next, we have, for our inspirations, I actually have Gunichi Mikawa on for survivability. He is not that high, but detectability of cruisers is at -3.3%. And I also have Andre. That's not even how you say it, he's French. Well, he's Andre, but the accent was terrible. Anyway, so for Andre, his survivability is -16.25% of the cruiser's detectability time after firing the main guns. And this is absolutely significant. So now to go over why I did this build really quickly. I actually chose a survivability and concealment setup, okay? So since I don't have Muller or Luchins, I have to do this, and it actually works very, very well. So we're going to go, and we're going to look at the stats very quickly. So as of now, concealment is 10.7 kilometers, which is not terrible, but it's pretty good. Like I said, especially for the ship, which we're about to go over really quickly how it plays, concealment is very, very important, especially when you're a cruiser, especially when you're the ship. So with that, having a 10.7 kilometer detectability range by sea, when you reload your guns, when you fire and you reload and you have Andre with that -16.25% after firing, it is unbelievably significant because mathematically, when Andre's maxed out, you will get, if not or more than 5 seconds of time during your reload where you will be undetected. I can't do the math. I don't have it right now because I don't know how far Andre goes. But, when you only have 6 shots and you have a 20-second reload time and it takes 20 seconds to be undetectable, that's a massive, massive contribution to the game. You're kind of like a destroyer in that sense with having Andre on with your reload time on top of the detectability build. So for those of you who do not have Muller Luchins, I highly suggest trying that build out with Sheer. Okay, now I'd like to go over all the other stuff, but no one really, you care about, numbers and boop, beep, boop, boop, beep, all that crap, but we're going to go over just some quick information about this ship and how to play her, even though there are a million videos already on how to play her. So, the Grafspee has, and I said it wrong again, God, it's Grafspee. Anyway, the Grafspee has 11-inch, 283mm Scharnhorst guns, and they're epic. You either love them, or you either hate them. It's that simple. I don't know, and I love her. I love this ship. I really do. But before I get started in this, I cannot stress this more, that you need to be a cruiser player, and you need to love the ship, and you have to play her exactly the way you have to play her. This is not a ship where you can go and do your own thing, you can screw around, you can go off and, I'm just going to go and try to shoot some battleships. It doesn't work like that. You have to play her the way she was made to be played. Yeah. But with that, God, there's so much stuff to go over, but, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Got a little smackdown right there. But, okay, back to this little review. But this ship, you have to play exactly as a cruiser, and you have to play her extremely safe. And I say that because your main job, first and foremost, always, is to be a cruiser hunter. You hunt cruisers. That's it. Okay? And I sound serious, and I'm trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about while I get stuck behind this rock when I'm broadside. What an idiot. Anyway, but you want to sink cruisers. That's your main job. But now I think I'm actually going to go over a little recap here. So when you start a match, first and foremost, load your AP shells. For when you run into cruisers, you are going to see battleships, and it's going to be scary, and there are situations where you can fire on them, but make sure it's HE, and make sure you are in a wolf pack. Make sure you are in between or behind other cruisers, which sounds terrible for your teammates because you look like an ass, or you're behind, battleships. You want to be safe. For the beginning of the map, you want to go and hide, find some islands, but you need to have extreme map awareness. I cannot stress that enough. It is extremely important to have map awareness, okay? So during that time, you're going to be looking for cruisers. You want to be hidden as much as possible, and then you want to look for those broadsides, and you want to smack them with your AP. You just want to smack them. It's like when you're in any other ship and you smack an Omaha. It's just the best. But you have to play that way. You have to be stealthy. You have to have the mindset of a cruiser as well as a destroyer to be successful in this ship. You can't rely off the guns. And when you do fire, you have to make sure you are absolutely specific on what you are doing and what you are aiming at, and making sure you have the correct shell type loaded. You also have to remember, with a 20-second load time, even though it's short, it's horribly long for this ship, and horribly long for having only 6 shells that you can fire, okay? So you need to make sure that your shell type is correctly loaded. So, for example, if you have bad map awareness, or you don't know where destroyers are at, they can come up right behind an island, and if you have AP loaded, you're not going to have 20 seconds to reload, okay? That is unbelievably important to know. Yes, you can be aggressive with your torps. You have 4 on each side. The arcs are insane. The best on any ship, opinion-based. Especially since they're 7 kilometers, 8 kilometers, 8 kilometers. They're decent and they are terrifying. But you don't want to get in that situation. You need to hide, you need to be in a wolf pack, and you need to smack broadside cruisers. And with that, your damage output is not going to be that good. It doesn't mean you're a bad player. It just means, the amount of, shots you can take, it's insignificant. And that's why you have to make them count. So high damage games with the ship are rare, even if you're a good player, but it's very situational, and it needs to be played like that. So I only suggest buying this ship if you play exactly as the way I said. And it's really not even opinion based. It's just true. And it's hard, staking to that. But you really have to keep that in mind. And it's been a learning curve. It's a challenge, for especially how I play, because I'm a battleship guy. I go right in there with the Scharnhorst and just smack them. And you can't do that. You have to be very methodical. You actually have to be like a badass wizard in this ship to be successful with her, okay? And even with this gameplay footage, it's still pretty good. It's definitely not the best, but it's a good way of showing, especially when you get smacked broadside by a Bayern, how to recover from that, how to be safe, how to be hidden, and, do the damage that you were made to do and do it correctly. But yeah. So, this is my little review here, I guess I'd have to say. My first review ever. And I hope it was good. There's definitely much more information I'd like to go into, and I definitely will be going over more things in the future, especially with the Bismarck coming up. I have a huge special with that. But to finish here, I just have to say I'm very grateful for everyone's support, for watching the videos, for checking them out. I'd love to play sometime. Hit me up on PlayStation 4. It's Stig_007. Oh, yes. But yeah, it's been fun, and I really appreciate it. Please subscribe. That'd be fun. Support me a little bit. But none of this is for the money. It's just for helping out, and I just want to be that type of person. So, and well, as we end here, you can see battle results. Let's see this real quick. Come on. And look at that. 60,725. Pretty good. Sweet. Well, cool. I hope you all have a good time. Hopefully you appreciated this review. And yeah, take care of yourself. This is the Stig.